Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Home Gym Hacks and Reviews. Today I'm really excited to rank my 18 purchases from Titan Fitness from least favorite to most favorite. And as always, I'll be offering hacks and ways to help you get the most out of each piece of equipment that I cover. Stay tuned. Before I get started, I will admit that some of these purchases have had frustrating aspects to them, either being damaged during shipping or some of the parts being messed up. But I do think over the year and a half that I've been buying from Titan, I do think things have improved and customer service has always been extremely good to me. I'm going to go ahead and back them and say that 90% of the time I'm really happy with anything that I get from them. Also, please check out my Instagram page, Home Gym Hacks and Reviews. I post a lot of things on there that don't make it to YouTube. Number 18 on the list is the Titan Fitness Speed Rope. For people who are into jumping rope, the rotational bearings are a pretty big issue, and Titan Fitness's bearings don't spin very well. The cable is 2.5 millimeters with aluminum handles. It is adjustable, and the total cable length is 11 feet. It only costs $15. Here's my cheap, probably $1 jump rope, which I like actually better than the $15 Titan Fitness Speed Rope. Coming in at number 17 is the 8-inch belt and band hanger. This comes in at about $35. It does have 10 prongs, so it can hold a lot of bands. And the laser cut Titan logo looks really sharp. It comes with all the hardware you need to hang it, but there's nothing fancy about it, and I could have easily done without it. I could just put the bands on my shelf, but this does look pretty good. Coming in at number 16 on my list is the squat roller. It has 12 different heights that it can be adjusted to. It is 11 gauge steel. It has rubber feet to prevent sliding. And at the moment, it is $85. I think at the time I may have gotten it for $50 or $60. But this is one of those pieces that I was able to get rid of when I got the PowerTech Lever Gym. By adjusting the squat bar on the lever arms, I'm able to replicate this movement without needing that Titan Fitness squat roller. And I mean, it was a good piece, and I don't have any complaints. It's just unnecessary when I have this option. And I was able to sell this piece for $40 to a local couple, and they like it a lot, and they say they use it pretty frequently, so I'm glad that it went to a good home. Coming in at number 15 and number 14 is the Linebacker squat and the Landmine combo. These are selling now for $230. Back in 2019, I was able to get this combo for $195. And there are so many different exercises you can do with the Linebacker squat, but I wasn't all that impressed with the quality of the piece. The hardware felt really cheap and it felt soft when I was bolting everything together. But I do think the quality of the Landmine stand is much better, and that was a sturdy piece. Similar to the squat roller, in order to help pay for the PowerTech Lever Gym, I sold that combo, and I was able to replicate the movement of the Linebacker squat closely enough with the PowerTech Lever Gym squat, and I don't regret selling either of those pieces in order to help pay for the PowerTech Lever Gym. Coming in at number 13 on my list is the Viking Press Landmine handle. This is a fine piece and I don't have any complaints about it. The movement felt good and the movement felt effective. But this was one of those pieces I sold in order to help pay for the PowerTech Lever Gym. I'm able to do the Viking Press using the lever arms, and the movement on the lever arms feels just as good and just as effective as using the Viking Press Landmine handle. Coming in at number 12 on my list is the Tibia Dorsey machine. I recently got this and I do like it, but I see this as more of a bonus piece than anything else. This piece is not going to make or break your training, and it's not like Ronnie Coleman would have won his 9th Olympia if he would have been training with a Tibia Dorsey machine, but it is only $125. I was able to get it for $100 with my loyalty points, and it is a fun machine to have, and if you want a superset, it goes really well with a seated calf raise. Number 11 on my list is the Back Hyperextension version 2. I was able to get this piece for $120 back in 2019. It has jumped up to $160, and out of all of my Titan Fitness pieces, this one feels the most cheaply built. The hardware is cheap, the padding isn't that great, But with all of that being said, it's still a good piece of equipment, and I'm glad to have it in my training arsenal. It has a weight capacity of 650 pounds, and it is 11 gauge steel. The pads are adjustable, and I like using it on lower body days. Number 10 on my list is the Rackable Trap and Hex Bar. It's a very versatile piece, and it's a major upgrade from the traditional silver trap bar that you see in most gyms. Rogue has a similar model, which comes in at $450 with shipping. Titans is only $270 with shipping. I don't do a lot of heavy deadlifting nowadays, but I do like using the trap bar for deadlift variations. Here I have the wedges under my heels to help target the quads a little bit more. And then I dropped down from 45s to 25s to just help increase my range of motion. This bar works awesomely for seal rows. As you can see, I put the bench on some plyometric boxes, and those plyo boxes will come up a little bit later in this list. But this movement feels fantastic, very effective, full range of movement, and it's just one of the many ways this bar can be used for things other than shrugs and deadlifts. After using a traditional trap bar for shrugs and deadlifts, it is so nice upgrading to this rackable version. It's so much easier to get your plates on and off the bar. This bar even works great for overhead presses. I actually prefer using this bar over a straight bar, as it helps keep the load over the center line of my body a little bit better, and I prefer this neutral grip instead of an overhand grip. This bar is great for push-ups. It will wobble a little bit, so what I would recommend is putting a mat like I have here under each end so you won't get that wobble. But I really like having a vertical grip when I'm doing my push-ups, or a neutral grip. It just feels better for my wrists, shoulders, and elbows. And if you want to increase the intensity of the movement, you can just wrap a band around your back or put a plate on your back, and then you can do your push-ups that way. At first I thought that this bar might be good for pressing movements, but it's really not, simply because if you tilt the bar one way or the other, the top of the frame will either crack you in the stomach or crack you in the forehead. So I do not recommend it in any way, shape, or form. Another huge advantage of having a rackable trap bar is that you can put the bar inside of the rack, load it, and then do reverse banded rack deads like I'm doing here. With PowerTech's model, the band pegs will get in the way if you want to put the trap bar on the floor, because PowerTech's band pegs are not movable like a lot of other power rack models. You can even put this bar in the Landmine to do different row variations. And this feels effective, and it's definitely a quality movement. And if you want to work your hamstrings, you can basically do so from almost the same position with a stiff-legged deadlift or a Romanian deadlift. And there is enough space inside of the bar to do farmer's carries. Number 9 on my list is the multi-grip bar. It has 3 different sets of grips for each pressing movement. I was able to get this bar for $114. It's now about $125. It does have a weight capacity of 1,900 pounds, and it is 82¼ inches long. It is basically a knockoff of Rogue's bar, but Rogue's comes in at $280 with shipping. This bar also works fantastic for reverse grip presses if you want to hit your triceps. I really like using this bar for push-ups. I put a couple of stall mats under the bar so that I can get my hands under there, but then I do all of the different grip variations for my push-ups: wide, medium, and close grip, and it feels extremely effective. And I don't like doing push-ups with my hands flat on the floor. This just feels better for my wrists and elbows. And you can flip the bar over, and if you want to work your triceps at a variety of different angles, you can, going from narrow to medium and then to wide. And this feels effective, and it's, in my opinion, one of the best reasons to have the bar. Using this bar, you can also do hammer curls, or you could do overhead tricep extensions. Coming in at number 8 on my list is the prone leg curl leg extension. I did a full review on this machine, and I did another review where I compared it to the seated leg extension leg curl, so check those videos out if you haven't seen them. Right now this piece is right at $500. It has a 300-pound weight capacity, and it's 11 gauge steel. When I got it, I was surprised by how well it's built, but there is a major flaw with this machine, and that's when you're doing your leg extension, there is a piece that connects the arm to the frame of the machine, and that piece will grind into your inner thigh, which is kind of painful. So I counteract that by putting a sweatshirt around that piece, and it makes the movement tolerable. The leg curl portion of this movement feels good. I don't have any complaints at all about that. And this is one of those pieces that I use pretty regularly, and I'm glad to have in my equipment arsenal. Coming in at number 7 on my list is the adjustable dumbbell stand, and it might seem odd that I've placed this piece so high among all of the other pieces, but I use this thing almost on a daily basis. Unfortunately, I checked Titan's webpage today, and they no longer sell this piece. I got this piece for $100 in 2019, and I've seen other adjustable dumbbell stands, but what I like about this one compared to those others is that you can walk in between the two shelves in order to grab the dumbbells, and this is a major improvement over grabbing dumbbells from the floor. I did paint this black. At the time it came in white, and I would really like to see Titan carry this piece again. Depending on your height or the exercise that you're doing, the shelves are adjustable. There's quite a few different adjustment points. Those adjustment points make it extremely nice when you're doing something like a dumbbell row and don't want to try to grab the dumbbells from the floor. The bench will slide up nicely in between the two shelves, allowing this movement to be executed pretty easily. For anyone who likes to do really heavy dumbbell shrugs, this piece is so nice because you can walk in between the two shelves and you don't have to do a lot of bending in order to get the dumbbells in place. This piece even makes exercises like lunges much more enjoyable because it's so easy to start the movement and grab the dumbbells from the shelves and then execute your movement. And it's also easy when you're done to just put the dumbbells back on the shelves. Again, I know it's odd that this piece ranks so high, but for me, it's just one of those pieces that gets used on almost a daily basis. It's well built. It's held up since 2019. And I use it from everything from push days to pull days to lower body days. So it is one of the most valuable pieces in my equipment arsenal. And it came in at a price tag of only about $100. Because I wouldn't want to have one without the other, coming in at number 6 and number 5 are the stackable plyometric boxes and the loading pin. I was able to get the plyometric boxes for $69, but they're $99 regularly, and the loading pin I was able to get for $20. My second one I got for free using my loyalty points, but the loading pin now comes in at $25. This is one of the best and most valuable movements I have. I did a full review on the plyometric boxes, so check that out if you haven't seen it. I will link it in the description, but these plyometric boxes are solid, and you can do a variety of other exercises with them. As you saw, I did the seal row with the Rackable trap bar earlier. Here I have 250 pounds on the loading pin. I have had more than 300 pounds on it. For anyone who doesn't want to buy a standalone belt squat machine, I find that this option right here is the best replacement for that movement at a fraction of the cost. Also, there's no compression on the spine, there's no shear on the knees, and the movement feels extremely effective. The only limitation using a loading pin to do belt squats is how heavy you can load the loading pin. Here I have 2.5 separating 35s. If I got rid of those 2.5 pound plates, I could put more weight on here, or I could use 45 pound plates. You may have noticed that I had a pair of shorts over my pants, and that's because this Spud Ink belt has some rough edges on the end of it, and those rough edges will tear your pants up. But it's still a great belt and a quality belt. Coming in at number 4 on my list is the seated leg extension leg curl. This machine is fairly new to me, but I'm really glad to have it in my equipment arsenal. I feel the movement is very effective and it's very smooth for both the leg extension and leg curl portions of this movement. I really like that it's a compact design, it has a really small footprint, and all of the adjustment points fit me perfectly. I don't think it would fit someone who's a lot larger than me because that top roller pad is already adjusted to its top position. I did remove the stop pin, and now I can more easily go between leg extension and leg curl. And I really don't see a downside to removing that stop pin other than it does change the starting position of the ankle pad ever so slightly. I was able to get this piece for right at $500, and I feel like at $500 it's a really good value to have two exercises that both feel good and that both feel smooth and effective. I used the silver Sharpie to mark my leg extension setting and my leg curl setting, and that just makes it easier to start each movement. Coming in at number 3 on my list is the Pec Fly rear delt machine. I was able to get this piece for $475. It's 12 gauge steel with a weight capacity of 300 pounds. This movement feels very smooth and very effective, and it compares very well to a much more expensive model like a Cybex or a Life Fitness Pec Fly. Originally, the rear delt portion of this machine left a lot to be desired, but I drilled an additional hole in that range of motion selector so that I could get a full range of movement for the rear delt portion of this machine, and in doing so, I made the machine much more effective. This is definitely a quality movement, and you can vary your hand position in order to target the rear delts a little bit differently. And again, similar to the Pec Fly, if I were to compare this movement to a much more expensive machine, such as a Cybex or a Life Fitness, I feel that this movement on this machine compares very well. Coming in at number 2 on my list is the Safety Squat Bar version 2. This bar is extremely well built, and many people will argue that it's the best piece that Titan has. I liked this bar so much that I bought it twice. I bought it in 2019 for $185, but I sold it to help pay for my lever gym. But I liked it enough to buy it again recently for $230. The second time I bought this bar, the finish wasn't as good as the first, but it didn't affect the function of the bar. The pad feels good, and it allows me to do Hatfield squats, which is the only type of squat that I do. And I'm reluctant to load my spine, but if I am going to load my spine, I'm going to use the safety squat bar instead of a traditional Olympic bar. This bar has a weight capacity of 1,500 pounds. It's about 91 inches long, and it weighs 60 pounds. And I know it's a knockoff of another bar, but at this price, it's hard to beat. And my number 1 most favorite piece of Titan Fitness equipment is the HPND. I was able to get this machine for $575 before shipping. It's a 250-pound machine made out of 11 gauge steel. It's hard for me to imagine this piece being built any better than what it is, especially for the price. And I know it's a knockoff, but it's the best knockoff I've ever seen and the best knockoff I've ever used. I use this thing almost daily, especially on leg days before and after my workout. I feel a tremendous amount of muscle activation in my posterior chain, and I feel that it's extremely effective for prehab as well as rehab. Sometimes I'll do just one leg at a time, and I find that this movement's pretty effective, but normally I'll just stick to doing 2 legs at the same time. You can push your heels together or separate the heels. By separating the heels, you'll activate different muscle groups in the posterior chain. And again, I really can't say enough good things about this piece. I am so glad to have it in my equipment arsenal, and if I ever had to downsize, this would be one of the last pieces to go. Thanks everyone for watching. Please like and subscribe. Thanks.